You know what you want to do, but how do you know when the best time is to do it? I'm Lori, She Blossoms. I recently bought a camper van. I spent almost my entire life savings on this little Pleasureway Tofino camper van. I've been looking back and reflecting on how did I know it was the right time to make that decision? Because I had been dreaming and thinking about it for 2 or 3 years before I actually pulled the plug and bought the van. And it was a major life decision. I realized there were 3 things that helped me decide it was the right time to buy the camper van. And I think they may help you decide too. If you're looking at a decision in your life and you're not sure if it's the right time to adopt a dog, propose to the guy, quit your job, go back to school, quit school, go back to your job, end a relationship, start a relationship, take a break in a relationship. You may have something that you really want to do with your life or in your life. You just don't know if this is the right time. I get it. The first thing that happened that pushed me over the edge, that made me decide that it was time to buy this van, was that my father-in-law died. I had had people die in my life before, so I had experienced the loss and the grief and the surrealness of somebody dying and you never see them again. But for some reason, with my father-in-law dying, that was it. I was like, I've got to do it now. If I don't do this now, I'm never going to do it. Something major sometimes has to happen in our lives in order for us to realize that this is the right time to make this decision or make this move or take this step. The second way I knew that it was the right time to buy this camper van was that I started taking small steps towards making that decision. For instance, I started talking to people who already owned camper vans. I started looking at RV dealerships at their camper vans and I started researching prices. I started watching YouTube videos on camper vans. You make a decision and you start proceeding in that direction, and then if a door closes or if it seems like it's not quite right, then you pivot slightly. That doesn't mean that you abandon your goal or your dream or the decision. It just means that you change it in some way. For instance, instead of moving to Africa for a job, you might move to Arkansas. Instead of quitting your job, you might move to a different department. Just pay attention to those little changes, those shifts in the wind or shifts in your intuition, and that will guide you in the right direction. What was the third way that I knew it was the right decision? I don't know what the third way was. The third way I knew it was the right decision was while I was shooting a video called "Are You Scared That You Made the Wrong Decision?" or "How to Know That You Made the Right Decision." I realized through making that video there really are no wrong decisions. We make decisions, and if it doesn't work out for some reason, and if we say, oh, that was a failure, that was a total mistake, worst mistake of my life, that is the mistake, is thinking that a decision is the wrong thing to do. When really, any decision is right, because every decision you make takes you further in life in some way. Even if it was, quote, a wrong decision, or it was a decision that hurt you or that you lost in some way, you learned from it, you grew from it, and somehow you were changed and molded by it. So just because the decision didn't work out perfectly doesn't mean it was the wrong decision. Plus, you don't know how it would have worked out if you had gone in the other direction. If you, for instance, had entered a relationship and it didn't work out, that doesn't mean that the relationship was a bad decision. It just means that's what happens in life when we make decisions. And that has nothing to do with whether or not the timing was right or wrong. It just means that sometimes decisions work out really well from our limited perspective, and sometimes they work out not so well from our limited perspective. We never know what would have happened if we hadn't have made the decision. I believe that every decision that you make, if you make it thoughtfully, and if you listen to your intuition, you sort of follow the guideposts, and if you just pay attention to all those little things that are happening in your life, not necessarily what people are saying or warning you about or trying to scare you away from, but just pay attention to little things that are going on. And you make the decision, You worry less about whether or not it's the right timing, and you pay more attention to, is this the right step for me to take today to take me further towards where I want to go with my life and where I want to be and who I want to be. It's never the wrong decision. It's only the wrong way of looking at it. I hope this has given you something different to think about, or a new way of looking at the timing in your own life. Feel free to write about it in the comments section below if you'd like. As always, take good care of yourself, because you are worth taking good care of. Mwah.